If you're looking to add a sense of purpose to your flights in Flight Simulator, you are living in the absolute golden age. Right now we've got two completely different philosophies fighting your flight log. On one side we've got Flight Simulator's native career mode, which is of course only available in Flight Simulator 2024. It's deeply integrated, where you start as a rookie pilot and physically walk around your plane to climb the corporate ladder. On the other side we have Pilops. It's a persistent, completely free, community-driven multiplayer economy layer that transforms the entire world in a living, player-driven logistical sandbox. And the good news is that it's also available for those who are still on Flight Simulator 2020. But which one is actually worth your time? Whether you're a casual couch pilot flying on an Xbox or PlayStation 5, or a hardcore type-rated airliner captain on PC, the answer might surprise you. Today we're putting them head to head by looking at both solutions and then draw the conclusion. Let's get started. Let's start under the hood, because how these two systems handle data changes everything. Microsoft Flight Simulator runs on an advanced cloud-dependent thin client architecture. It streams high-resolution assets on demand to keep your local storage low, bringing the world to life with live weather and real-time traffic. But when it comes to the career mode, your economic footprint is entirely isolated. When you log off, the world pauses. No one is competing with you for contracts. Pilops flips this concept completely on its head. Developed as a free tool by Jose Fortes, it doesn't run inside the sim engine. Inside, it uses a lightweight Windows companion app that communicates with both Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024 via SimConnect, causing practically zero performance penalty on your PC. But here's the magic. Pilops connects you to a central persistent database shared by thousands of active real-world pilots. You can track your fleet, check market fluctuations, and plan routes for a web dashboard on your phone or tablet while you're away from your desk. However, there's a catch for PC users. Because Pilops relies on continuous background telemetry stream, if your simulator crashes mid-flight, you cannot easily recover it, meaning you'll have to restart that specific leg from scratch. When it's time to pre-flight, both platforms offer incredible yet very different layers of realism. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 absolutely excels at visual and physical immersion. Its native walk-around mode forces you to get out of the cockpit and physically inspect the airframe, and it has real mechanical consequences. Forget your pilot tube covers and your airspeed indicators will fail in midair. Forget your wheel chocks and your plane physically won't budge on the tarmac. Pilops skips the visual walk around, but enforces a brute level of telemetry driven realism. The moment you accept a contract on a web dashboard, the app automatically syncs and locks your aircraft's view in the simulator to match the real manifest. Once you're airborne, Pilops tracks your moves. It monitors G-force, bank angles and vertical speed. Pull an aggressive maneuver and your simulated passenger happiness index will drop. They will literally complain or scream, and your fragile cargo damage slider will tick up, directly slashing your final payout. Even better, it grids your touchdowns using a hyper-specific landing performance index formula that factors in your approach speed, wing angle and passenger comfort. It forces you to prioritize structural preservation and passenger comfort, not just hitting the runway. Enough talked about the technology, let's look at the tool itself and let's do a first flight to see how the experience is. So this is the web interface of Pilops, your virtual pilot career for Flight Simulator. As you can see, you can earn money, which is shown here. You can see the current flights and the current rankings. So you can see several people, other people are flying currently, in flight, boarding. You can see, I would say, people around in South America, in the central US, but also in Europe, there are flights active. These are the current flights. You can also see the rankings. This is the top X. And this, you can currently see that there are 23 live now. On the left side, you've got the menu, and the menu has a lot of options. You can either start a flight, but you can also look at My Aircraft, which shows you My Aircrafts. If you don't own any aircraft, just like me, you will see this and you can press Get Started. There's the aircraft marketplace where you can buy aircrafts, but you can also choose to buy second-hand aircrafts, as you can see. Other than that, you've got the hangars, and I also don't have a hangar, so you can also press get start and get the hangar. I will do this in a few minutes, so keep watching this video. Then we've got the airliners, where you can see the active airliners, you can see my airliners, and the applications, because you can also, let's say, kind of hire people, based on my understanding. Of course, you can also say click on them and then say apply to the company, which makes you join another company, depending on what you prefer. Then we've got the flight history, which will normally show you the flight history, but since I didn't do anything, you don't see anything. And then you've got the airports, and the airport is pretty interesting, where you can either search on the ICAO code, like I want to search for Schiphol. It shows me the details, the elevation, the cargo. It shows me the hangars, it shows me the stands, it shows me the routes. So this is pretty interesting information. You can create routes using this option. You can see incoming flights, outgoing flights. You can see the stands, which you can also rent, of course. And then you've got the routes here, your routes. You can currently see there's no route. And this is pretty interesting. It looks like this, you can set up routes, but I will have a look at that, say, within a few minutes. Then, of course, we got the downloads, because as mentioned already in the video, you need to download the Pilops client, which is only available for Windows currently. So you can simply click it and download it and install it. I will not show it because it's really easy to install it. And then once you install it, you need to log on because there's an account required. Now you might think, okay, hey, but what are these things, right? Do I need to pay for it? Yes or no? I contacted the developer because he reached out to me if I could have a look at this tool. And based on my understanding, you don't need to invest money unless you want to speed up your progress. So it's really up to you. It's not mandatory, but you can still do it. So we click on the dashboard. You can say start your streak, right? It gives you also a challenge where you can simply say try it every time. And you can see the more you fly, the higher the points will be. So the higher the experience points will be. There's a nice community. You can support them and you can also report bugs. So there's enough, I'd say, options in this interface. Now the application, say companion app is really simple. You can't do much. You can only click the gear and then change the airport calls, the airport people, as well as the flight passengers, and nothing less. The only thing I'm missing, if I'm honest, is that you really don't have an option, for example, which I would expect in settings, to automatically start the client, because by default it will not start automatically, so you have to start it and then you can continue. Before we can start Flight Simulator and do a flight, we first need to click on start a flight, and then we need to get an aircraft, because without an aircraft it's hard to fly. So I'm gonna press get started. It says Pilops is a career mode that transforms your flight. It gives you some information, and I can say confirm. Okay, here's also the only thing which you can do is confirm, right? You can't do much more, so I'm clicking it. Then based on this, it says, okay, hey, this is the information, right? Below is an example for freight of 2 passengers wanting to travel to a fictional airport. So here you've got the passengers, you've got the weight, you've got the destination airport, you got the destination, and you've got the money which you will own, likely. If you succeed, you will get, in this case, 2000 Pilops coins. And here it says, okay, hey, you will always find freight like that. And here it says, you will always find freight like this at all airports in the world. And you can take as many cargo as you want on the same flight, as long as it fits in the aircraft. Well, also makes sense. Here we see, okay, hey, unlike the standard found in Flight Simulator here, you cannot use any aircraft. You will receive your first aircraft for free. To start flying, you will need to use the Pilops coins earned from freight to buy or rent new or better aircrafts. So this word comes into the play where I said, okay, hey, you can buy coins. That's simply to buy newer aircrafts earlier. Once you click on continue, here it says, okay, you can also fly with airlines, with other people, make friends, share aircrafts, split the profits. It's of course up to you. Now, once we've done that, it will prompt us to say, hey, where do you want to start? You will start using the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, and then you can simply select the home airport. as I understood. Right, and the airport you want to receive your first aircraft. Well, I want to receive it at Rotterdam, The Hague. You can see that I can press the ICAO code. Then it says, okay, hey, you're viewing the airport, analyze the available cargo and passengers. If you're satisfied with this location, let's continue. So based on that, I can scroll down and I can see, okay, hey, which airport or missions are available. You can see some general cargo missions. You can also see some passenger missions. And then you can see here the origin and the destination airport, the distance, and the amount of money you will receive. If you're happy with this, you simply click OK. If you're not happy with this, you can always go back and select another airport. For example, I can select the Amsterdam airport, and then when I scroll down, you will see that the prices are higher, which I receive. I can see also the flights are longer, so keep that in mind, that if you're selecting bigger airports, your, I would say, kind of flights will also be longer. So I'm gonna select Rotterdam The Hague because we start small. Click on confirm. And then we see, okay, hey, we've got the propeller, aircraft specifications. We can take a maximum of 3 passengers. This is the maximum cargo capacity, fuel capacity, and the type of fuel. And then we can click next. And then based on that, we can select cargo and route. Here we can see that some things are blocked, which we can't select. So in this case, we can't select the cargo flights. But for example, we can select this flight. So we can fly to this destination. So we press add in this case, and it will be added to our list. Once we've done that, we can click on next. And it's really up to you if you want to add more flights. I do think that you can add more, right? Because you can take 3 passengers. So in this case, I could say, hey, I'm also going to pick this one because this still fits in the aircraft. And also make sure that I earn more money. So I'm going to click next again. Then it says, okay, hey, do we need to do anything with the gas? Well, I'm not sure. Let's confirm it. I hope it's good. But it will also cost you money. So keep that in mind. It will cost you money if you want to fly further. So here it says, okay, the available weight for fuel is 336. Then this destination, and this is the price. So in this case, I do think this should be enough. This, I would say, might be hard for you if you are new to Flight Simulator, because then you need to figure out, okay, hey, is this fuel enough? And then that's also a question for me. So let me see if I can go back. You can see the cargo capacity. Well, what's the average fuel usage? That would be interesting then. Here it says, okay, hey, in this case, do I need to add more fuel or less fuel? That's, I would say, kind of tricky, right? So that maybe I should have read the manual. Of course, I should have done that. But I always try it directly to see, okay, hey, what it is. In this case, I can see that if I have 168 few passengers, so this would, I would say, it would have been nice if they would have, say, given you a little bit more hints. Because do I need to push it completely to the right, or is this enough? Because if I push it to the right, it also does mean that I would say need to pay more money. So in this case, I'm gonna accept it for now. And here I see, okay, current fuel on board. I can see the aircraft, and then I can push this option. And then the flight begins. But before doing that, let me make sure that I'm, let's say, making sure that I start Flight Simulator. So, and on this page, I can see the summary, right? I can see the cargo, the passengers. I see the destination airport. I can get the client if I didn't have the client already, but I already have it. Let's see if it's there. You don't have active flights now. And here, once refreshed, I can see I have the flight here. 3 passengers. I can go to the pre-flight. And then it says, okay, hey, it didn't find a Flight Simulator. So I, of course, need to start it. So let me do that and then come back to the screen. So I started Flight Simulator. Let me try it again. I'm going to say I'm ready to start my flight. It says current location, Echo Hotel, Romeo Delta. But here it says I've got an error, right? Because I didn't select the correct aircraft. So let me make sure that I select the correct aircraft. Gonna do that. I'm gonna select the 172. It doesn't specify which one I need to select, so I'm gonna select the basic one. And then I'm gonna hit escape. Then I'm gonna select the correct airport, because I do think that they also need to be on the airport itself. But let's see how that works. Gonna put it on the ramp over here. And then let me try again, right? Because it's, let's say, to me it's unclear what I need to do now. It says, okay, hey, you're not in the airport. So in this case, I need to be sure that I'm on the airport. So let me hit start flight. And the cool thing is that you also hear all kind of background sounds. So I switched it off for now, because else it's recording the music also from Flight Simulator. And then let's say you got some issues with, in this case, YouTube, which says, okay, hey, you're using copyright music. And now I can do, of course, they do a lot of things. I can simply walk around the normal way. So let me do it quickly. Let me remove all the stuff. And then they try the button again. So hit Shift C. So we're entering the aircraft. So it's good. So now let's go back to the application and say, hey, I'm ready to start my flight. In this case, it says, okay, hey, this is what you have, right? So there are no alerts. It's connected. It's recording my flight. So I'm good to go. So once this is, let's say, being visible, I can simply click it away, and then I can start my flight. Of course, I'm not going to track my entire flight, but this is just to explain you how this part works, right? So flight status is boarding. So let me see. Yeah, here we are. So I'm going to do the rest, and then I will come back if something changes in that GUI, because I don't think it makes sense to show everything here. Just to show you, while taxiing, it adjusts the flight status, right? Where it initially was boarding, now it shows taxiing. And likely once we go airborne, it will also change the flight. So we'll keep an active look on your flight. So that's really nice. Let's say, I would say, I kind of like it. You can see the fuel usage, you can see the nautical miles, right? You can see the airspeed, the altitude, which is, I would say, good to see. As you can see, we landed on the airport, so let's have a look at what the score is. So this was the current altitude, right? We can see the airspeed, we can see the passengers are still happy, and the flight state is landed. So once you've seen this, you can press finish and save the flight, and then you will get the assessment. So the assessment in this case, 5 scores. You can see experience gained. See the aircraft, from to, the destination, the fuel used, and the flight time. If you scroll further down, you can see some more information about, for example, the landing information. This was the score, right? The banking angle. It looks like there was some improvement, as well as, I would say, the pitch angle. Well, some improvements also there, although it was green, which means that the earnings are this amount. The flight history fee is this. And then the flight history from fee and a flight history to fee. Say flight history fee, likely this is, I would say, a few or something. I think these are, I would say, kind of, well, typos in the interface, because I think it need to be spaces, but maybe that's me. Besides that, I can see that if I expand it, I can see the passengers, right? A group of passengers of 2 and 1, they're all happy, and there were no alerts, which means I think it's, I would say, I did pretty well. If we would now go to the interface over here and go back to the dashboard, it says, okay, hey, you already flown today, which is good. And if I go to my flight history, it's also really, already updated. And really nice. I can click on it and then can see the details. I can see the aircraft, I can see the points earned, the money earned, and I also can see my flight, including below this, I can see the airspeed and altitude. Besides that, I can see the final score. It would be nice if they would have shown, okay, hey, where can I improve, right? Or where should I have done better in this case? Maybe the pitch angle was a little bit, let's say, well, too steep or something. I'm not sure how I should interpret this. And then of course the passengers which paid, and flight alerts, no flight alerts, which is good. And this is how it works. And I do think it's a pretty nice experience. Of course, after this, you can go back to your start a flight and then select your aircraft, because we now have an aircraft. Once we have the aircraft, we can say start a flight plan and of course do a new mission. And this is how you can continue on and on and on, and then eventually build your own airliners, build your own, or buy your own hangar if you want, or buy your own aircraft. Because currently we're flying in a Cessna 172 because there's the default aircraft which you get, but you can see that if you scroll down, you can also, for example, at one point you can buy the Citation CG3, the Fokker F28, the Bombardier 35A, but they will cost you some money. And as you could have seen on the top, I still need to do a lot of flights. So which career mode is right for your hangar? Let's break it down by your player profile. If you're a casual or console flight simmer, stick to the native Flight Simulator 2024 career mode. It runs natively on Xbox and PlayStation 5, it's beautifully integrated, and a wide variety of structured missions like firefighting and search and rescue are unmatched for raw, immersive gameplay without needing to manage complex external spreadsheets. If you're a management enthusiast or virtual airline builder, Pilops is a must-have. The player-driven market, collaborative group operations and strict component wear tracking give you a deep evolving business simulator that the single-player mode simply cannot replicate. And finally, if you're a dedicated airliner captain on PC, skip the native licensing grids. Pilops lets you hop straight into your complex jetliner on day one, giving every commercial route real economic purpose inside a living, competitive global logistics network. Pilops is completely free to play with optional premium points, so there's no barrier to entry if you are on PC. Which system are you currently flying for? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more technical flight sim deep dives, and as always, have fun flying, and until next time.